Hello friends, welcome to GS Core, and this is our current affairs through MCQ initiative. The first question that we will be taking into consideration is, which of the following states recently became the first in India to develop remote voting using blockchain technology during municipal elections? Remote voting has been in news in the last 1 year, and hence organizations associated with it, states that have taken initiatives, and also technology on which it is based has to be known by you. Answer to this particular question is C, that is Telangana. If you take into consideration current affairs, so what do we know? That Telangana State Election Commission collaborated with Emerging Technologies Wing of IT Department of the state of Telangana along with IIT Madras. What they did was they developed innovative system which would be tamper proof, transparent, and ensure security of voting process. Alright, so which all are the organizations involved? Telangana State Election Commission, Emerging Technologies Wing of Telangana State Government, and IIT Madras. These are the facts to be remembered. Which type of technology? Blockchain technology. It will be using the blockchain technology. Alright, now this obviously will lead towards broader goal of digitalization or digital governance. Please remember this. Question might come as to what it will lead to. It will lead to digital governance. It will also improve, obviously, voter turnout. And why is it said that voter turnout will improve? Why is it basically said that voter turnout will improve? Dekho, this initiative, the aim of this initiative is for the purpose of making voting more accessible. Primary target groups to be focused upon are people who do not have ease of voting. People who do not have ease of voting. If I take into consideration such people, then who are they? Elderly. Mostly it is the elderly, physically challenged, and of course migrants. Alright, so remember these facets of current affairs for the purpose of remote voting. One more question I have taken up in remote voting. Reason for that was both of them are connected. Hence I have taken one more question on it. So let us discuss the same. Let us therefore discuss the same. Okay. Consider the following statements regarding recent development of electoral reforms in India. Election Commission of India has introduced remote electronic voting machine to facilitate voting for migrant workers. Absolutely correct. This statement is absolutely correct. Alright, for the purpose of enabling domestic migrant workers, that is those workers who have migrated from one state of India to another state of India, it will help in providing them voting right, because many times these voters cannot get to their constituencies for the purpose of exercising their franchise. Alright, it will aim to, what is the aim? Aim is to address lower voter turnout of migrants. What it will do is, it will basically provide for voting facility in constituencies in which these migrant workers reside or are working. Alright. The remote EVMs have all the safety features of an EVM and are, according to Election Commission, tamper proof. There has been in principle acceptance, and very soon our EVMs will be brought into action. In coming times, they will also be used for the purpose of recording votes of Indian citizens living abroad. At this point of time though, it is not the immediate goal. Immediate goal basically is migrant population of India. Alright, domestic migrant population of India. Moving on, the voter verified paper audit trail VVPAT is now mandatory in all elections conducted by Election Commission of India. Absolutely not. ठीक है, absolutely not. VVPAT का decision had come last year and hence we are discussing it. Alright, VVPAT के बारे में what Supreme Court said is 100% implementation of VVPAT. That means everyone getting paper record of what he or she has voted is not possible. It is not possible. ठीक है, what will be done is VVPAT will be provided randomly to check the sanctity of election process. To check the sanctity of election process, nothing else. Alright, also one thing is to be remembered, this rule of random VVPAT being provided is applicable only to Lok Sabha elections and Vidhan Sabha elections, that is state legislative assembly elections, and not to elections of local bodies. Alright, local bodies are not included in it. ठीक है. Statement 3, Supreme Court has ruled that candidates must disclose their criminal antecedents before contesting elections. Absolutely correct. Supreme Court last year reiterated its earlier decision in which it basically stated that criminal antecedents must be disclosed. That means cases launched on a particular candidate has to be stated in the election affidavit. It is not only the responsibility of the candidate but also of the political party on the ticket of which the candidate basically is standing for election. This information has to be publicized on the website of the party and social media platforms of it. The first statement is correct, third is correct, or answer therefore is C. Moving on to yet another current affairs wala question. ठीक है. So what I have done is we have cornered questions related to elections in this particular session. So 3 questions are on elections, not all of them. ठीक है. Elections was one of the most important themes in current affairs if you look into last year. Alright. This is assertion and reason wala question. Assertion statement is the Election Commission of India has emphasized the need for state funding of elections to curb influence of black money in politics. This particular statement is absolutely correct. ठीक है. So in 2023 there was Indrajit committee report. In it what was done? State funding of elections. That means all the kharcha of elections will be taken care of by the government. State funding of elections was supported. Alright. And after that, last year, what Election Commission did? In its recommendations to the President, Election Commission accepted. Recommendations, Election Commission basically provided for initiating the process. It advised the President to go ahead with state funding of elections. Apart from Indrajit committee, na, remember the name of one more committee, and that is Dinesh Goswami committee. I am taking this name because UPSC has thrice asked question on Dinesh Goswami committee. Dinesh Goswami committee also recommended state funding of elections. State funding of elections. Okay, let us look at reason wala statement. State funding will ensure that all candidates receive equal financial support. Okay, till here the statement is correct. Eliminating the need for private donations, absolutely wrong. देखो, political parties do not require donation only for the purpose of fighting elections. There are other duties also. That basically political parties do perform, right? So private donations are not confined to fighting elections. All right, they are not confined to fighting elections. Hence, second statement is incorrect. यहाँ पे what we are seeing, even if a statement is partially incorrect, it is completely incorrect. All right, even if the statement is partially incorrect, it is completely incorrect. So यहाँ पे what will be my answer? C, A is correct, but R is incorrect. Moving on to the next question. Now this question has been taken up by me because 106th Constitutional Amendment Act was passed. Right. So UPSC then has the habit of taking into consideration recent amendments. It may not ask directly questions on that particular amendment, but it will ask questions that immediately come before the concerned amendment. So 106th has been passed. So what UPSC has the habit of doing, it will ask about 105, it will ask about 104. That is why I have taken up this question. All right. So if I look into it now, so 103rd constitutional amendment is related to EWS reservation. What is EWS reservation? 10% of seats when it comes to education and government jobs will be reserved for economically weaker sections. That means those communities, those people who belong to general category but are economically not viable. All right, they are basically economically not viable. For the purpose of implementing this amendment, what was done? Clause 6 was added to Article 15 of the Constitution, along with amendments that led to Article 16 of the Constitution. So two articles were amended, that is Article 15 and 16. What we also know, the recommended 50% ceiling provided by Supreme Court in Indira Swamy case was breached. देखो, Supreme Court in Indira Swamy case said as far as possible the number of seats reserved should not go beyond 50%. It was not compulsory. Again I am saying it was recommended by Supreme Court. All right, it was recommended by Supreme Court. So once this 10% reservation was provided, now this ceiling was breached. All right, Supreme Court has already upheld the validity of 103rd constitutional amendment. Let us go to 101st constitutional amendment. 101st constitutional amendment is with respect to GST. All right, goods and service tax. In this, what was done? Through this amendment, what was done? India unified its indirect tax system so that across the country, multiple cascading tax could now be unified. It also provided for creation of GST Council. And it empowered both Parliament and state legislature to make laws on GST. All right, through which taxes were unified? If I take into consideration specific taxes, because it can be asked, what all basically GST brought into itself. ठीक है, what all what all GST basically combined. So it combined central excise duty, service tax, VAT, that is value added tax, and ultimately entry tax. There are other also, but these are the important ones. All right. 3 new articles were introduced through this amendment. Which were those articles? Articles 264A. Now here you don't need to remember specific articles, I will say, but you need to remember provisions. All right. What did 264A do? It created for, or it provided for, special provisions with respect to GST. Then we have Article 269A. What 269A basically did? It provided provisions related to levy and collection of GST on interstate trade. And last but not the least, Article 279A, it provided for creation of GST Council. In the end, we have 105th constitutional amendment. What did it do? It provided, or it restored, the right of the states to identify OBC communities. All right. So it amended Article 338B, and 338B is related to National Commission for Backward Classes. So basically National Commission for Backward Classes is a constitutional body. Okay. Other than that, it also amended Article 342A. It ensured that both center and state have distinct powers when it came to recognizing OBC communities. All right, let's move on to the last question of the day. And this question is regarding recent Supreme Court judgments. All right, I have also taken into consideration here some landmarks cases. All right, chalo, let us look into it. Supreme Court has upheld the right to privacy as fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution. Absolutely correct. All right, and what is the name of the case in which it was done? Putraswamy case. Now, why I am emphasizing on this case? This case is not that recent, but I am emphasizing on this case because of a particular terminology used by Supreme Court in recent times, and that is progressive interpretation. All right, last year Supreme Court used this particular terminology, that is progressive interpretation. Progressive interpretation means ambit of interpreting a particular provision has to first and foremost be according to socio-economic needs, and second, in normal circumstances, this ambit has to increase. This ambit basically has to increase. So if in 1950, if Article 21 and right to life in it meant certain things, if it meant say 5 things, by the coming of 1960 it should mean 6 things. Matlab more rights are to be included with respect to what right to life means. Alright, then we have statement 2. This is right to internet access has been declared as an essential part of right to freedom of speech and expression under article 19(1)(a), absolutely correct. Alright, name of the case law, Anuradha Bhasin versus Union of India. Again, Supreme Court last year reiterated this position. Alright, Supreme Court will not ask you about the decision taken last year, because Supreme Court had only in that particular case remarked that we are following the judgment of Anuradha Bhasin versus Union of India. Hence, remembering Anuradha Bhasin versus Union of India is necessary. Other thing, please look at this. Right to internet access here is related to freedom of speech of expression and not right to life. Alright, so in exam don't make this mistake. Third, Supreme Court has ruled that right to education under Article 21(a) extends to higher education in all public institutions. Absolutely not. In recent judgment given by Supreme Court, Supreme Court has basically categorically stated that it will not move beyond what is provided by Article 21(a). Alright, originally this decision was given in or was provided for in Ashish Ranjan versus State of Uttar Pradesh. Last year Supreme Court again reiterated the same decisions, nothing else. Alright, now in this type of questions you may face a problem. You may consider the third statement to be correct on the lines of progressive interpretations done by Supreme Court. Yahan pe you have to only remember one thing, and what is that? If you cannot recollect the fact, that means the fact is incorrect. Okay, so if you are not able to recollect any such happening in current affairs, that means the fact has not happened at all. You have to keep that confidence in yourself. That's it. Answer to this question is A, 1 and 2 only. Alright friends, thank you so much. I hope the video was helpful. I would request you all to like, share and subscribe. Alright. If there is any doubt that you have, for the purpose of Prelims 2025, link of our Telegram channel is provided in the description section. You basically can come to that Telegram, you can join that Telegram channel and ask us doubt, we will answer you. Thank you so much and best of luck.